It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. Are you tired of letting your fears keep you from achieving a goal or going after a passion? Do you wish that you could muster up the courage to overcome whatever is holding you back? According to today's guest, Kirk Smith, with the right tools, anyone can face fear head-on and take the first step toward achieving an extraordinary life. Adam is an entrepreneur, life coach, consultant, and motivational speaker. He's written for Entrepreneur and Success magazines, among others, and he's the author of the new book, The Bravest You, 5 Steps to Fight Your Biggest Fears, Find Your Passion, and Unlock Your Extraordinary Life. Welcome, Adam. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Joan. It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
So, Adam, fear keeps so many of us stuck in place. It paralyzes us, and you write about common fears that people experience. And I want to talk about some of these because, to be honest with you, I saw myself in this list. So let's just go through some of these fears that you believe many people experience.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the 10 that I pinpointed that almost all people go with, but at least most people deal with, are the fear of inadequacy, of uncertainty, of failure, of rejection, of missing out, of change, of losing control, of being judged, of something bad happening, and of getting hurt. And, you know, the main one that I find that people deal with are the first 3 that I mentioned: inadequacy, uncertainty, and failure.
I agree with you about the inadequacy and failure. And I like to eliminate the word failure because I don't believe there's any such thing as failure. I think everything is a learning experience, and just because something didn't go the way you wanted it to doesn't mean that you failed. So what are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. You know, I have the same belief that you do because, you know, there's a lot of mistakes that'll happen along the way, a lot of mishaps. You know, if we're living life brave in the bravest way that we can, we're going to be taking risks. We're going to be stepping out. We're going to be trying new things. There's going to be mistakes and mishaps. That's so important for people to understand. If you think about it, you know, people go through the school system from elementary through university. We're on a grade scale, right? And, you know, and if you don't make an A or a B, or, you know, you're less than adequate. And so to change this mindset of trying to reach perfection every single time and then going out into the real world and, you know, the way we live life, most of us, it keeps us in this box. It keeps us in this cookie cutter system. And, you know, to lead with our lives, to do amazing things, we're going to have to take risks. Yes, that word failure. The fear of failure is definitely a real thing because, you know, people fear failing, but failure in itself, I don't believe in that either. We need to try new things, and we need to learn from them and move ahead.
Adam, you write that being brave is a process, and you do it through a 5-step bravery process. And I think that's an important thing to note, that it is a process. So let's talk briefly about that. How does this process help us move from being stuck to that high point of bravery?
You know, that first point is complacency. And, you know, in my own life, I was complacent for a really long time. We use our schedules and our busyness as a crutch, keeping us complacent. I think that's important to note. And so we stay complacent for years even. Look, you know, many, their entire lives, look back on their entire life and wish they could have done more. So it's important to know that we can get unstuck with the right tools. And that second stage, that second step is the idea. The idea or the inspiration that we each have inside of us, it's important to pay attention to ourselves, what the world is speaking to us. And so when you have that idea that's bigger than your fear, the third step is fear. Every single time we have these huge ideas, and fear will come, but with the right tools, we can fight our fears continuously through our life. So the first stage, again, complacent. Second, inspiration. Third, fear. So to get from the third step of fear to bravery is passion. And, I hate one-size-fits-all advice because people come from every single, situation out there. Everybody has a different thing going on in their life. But passion was the one thing, after talking to hundreds of different people through writing this book, that passion was the one thing that gets people repeatedly to bravery. So that's why this is a process that I've seen work time and time again. And so, from fear to bravery is passion. And so it's important that each of us, find our passion in life so we can then be brave. I define bravery as the willingness to succeed, the drive to succeed. And so passion is what helps us to endure. It's showing up time and time again, finding that thing that keeps us showing up repeatedly.
As I was reading your book, the process that you just described is exactly what I lived recently. I mean, my work is a result of this process that you described. I was living a complacent life. I had an idea for all of what I'm doing right now, which actually came out of a pretty major upheaval in my life. And so I had this idea. I overcame just about every fear that I had because I found my passion in what I'm doing. Yeah. And, now I public speak. I used to hate to be up in front of people. Everything that you just described completely works, and I've lived it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that passion has become almost this buzzword, I feel, that people neglect it or throw it away once they hear it. But the root of the meaning of passion means to endure. That's what it means. And I think when people understand that, I think it's important that we not neglect passion because everybody talks about it, but to really hone in and pay attention to it. That's wonderful to hear that you see how this process has worked in your own life.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I've lived it. And, one of the things that I've learned, because I've gone through tremendous change, and that was one of the fears that you mentioned earlier, that change is inevitable, but yet everyone does whatever they can to fight it. We don't want that change. But when you go through it and you learn to embrace it and you overcome all of those challenges and fears and you get to that high point of bravery, that's really when life starts. I mean, you learn the lessons. You can really hit a high point in your life when you go through those changes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love what you said there, to embrace change, because change is inevitable. It's going to come. And so when we realize this, we have to choose to embrace it rather than resist it. Yeah, that's perfect.
So Adam, for someone that's listening to us and is stuck in place right now and is dealing with so many different types of obstacles that are keeping him or her stuck, what advice do you offer to that person to take that first step, to figure out where he or she wants to go and to just overcome what's holding them back?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think it's important for people to evaluate the ideas they're pursuing. And asking yourself, are your ideas more important than your fears? If they're not, then you're probably, you're most likely chasing the wrong things. And so, some questions. I'm a person that believes that instead of always trying to find the right answer, we should learn to ask better questions. It helps us reframe experiences, helps us reframe our lives. So just some questions to get listeners thinking, in the right direction. Asking yourself, why is this important? Knowing the purpose of what you do and how you're wired is extremely important. And then specifically, who will my actions impact? I know you, Joan, myself, we do what we do because it impacts people. It affects people on a daily basis. It makes people think differently. It helps people live better lives. And so tying other people to what you do is important. Because then, if you're doing things always just for yourself, then that's, it's an important thing to also pay attention to ego. And, am I doing this for the right reasons? And then once you know those two, then you can answer some more important questions. How are you pursuing your biggest passions right now? It's one thing to think about chasing something. It's a different thing to put things into action, to actually go after them. Another good question, what would you gladly do for free that people need from you? What would you do if nobody was looking? Again, that question ties into ego. And then how can you fit your passion into your work and your life? A lot of people just focus on passion in work. It's okay to pursue it on the side. If you love what you do, it's okay to be passionate about life as a whole. And there's a lot of books out there about finding passion in work, but pay attention to your life, everything about it, your family, your friends. There's a lot of things to be passionate for. There's a lot of things to be grateful for. And another question that's important is what excites you and what is fun. It's important to have fun. Those of us that work all the time, it's easy to forget that it's important to have fun. So bring the fun back into life and make it about other people, I would say, would be the best advice to change our perspective.
The book is The Bravest You, 5 Steps to Fight Your Biggest Fears, Find Your Passion, and Unlock Your Extraordinary Life. If you'd like to get more information about Adam, the book, or his work, you can visit asmithblog.com. That's asmithblog.com. Adam, in about 30 seconds or less, what's the takeaway? What's the one thing you want to leave our listeners with?
Instead of focusing on our fears and the magnitude of those, learn to focus on your passions instead, because when your ideas, when your passions become more important than your fears, you will find bravery.
Adam, thank you so much for being here with us and for providing strategies to help us tackle any fear head on. Fear keeps many people stuck, but we can learn to move past it and go for whatever our heart desires. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely, Joan. Thanks again. It was a pleasure.
We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joan Herman, host of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Did you know that Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox? Every month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide information to educate, inspire, and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. Check out a copy of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life 24/7. Visit CYACYL.com and be sure to tell your friends. Thank you for joining us. I hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, CYACYL.com. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read our digital magazine, take part in the book club, check out our team, and be sure to follow the show on social media. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.